Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Engage Your Brand podcast. I am so excited to introduce you today. If you haven't heard of her, then you probably do live a little bit under a rock. But introduce you to Tayler Cusick-Hollman, the founder and one of the owners of Enji, which is a marketing software for wedding pros. Tayler is a marketing consultant, copywriter genius, strategist, and one of the founders of Enji. She's a straight shooter whose ego is way harder to bruise than her legs and arms are on a mountain biking or skiing adventure. When she's not sitting behind her computer, you'll find her mountain biking, skiing, rock climbing, drinking wine, cooking something from scratch, dancing to disco, or debating politics with someone. And honestly, same. We were just talking about politics before this. So we'll keep it focused on marketing and your wedding business and everything today. But I'm so excited to bring Tayler on. Welcome, Tayler.
Thank you so much for having me, Emily. I'm really excited. And it's so funny. Like when I hear that bio, I'm like, yep. Stereotypical Tayler.
Yeah, I know. And then when you hear it over and over again, like, it's like, okay, yeah, I feel like everyone's heard of this, but still, like, you're going to be new to other people. Like, but that's how I feel when I hear my own bio. And I think that's on good branding and marketing, though, like the consistency of it all.
Totally. So, like I like to play outside. I like to listen to disco while cooking something in the kitchen. And then, yeah, for sure. It's very easy for me to go down a political rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But if anybody wants to sidebar about that, y'all can come find me somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to share what you do and how you got to where you are now?
I would love to. Because, like a lot of folks who are entrepreneurs, small business owners, whatever label you put on yourself, we didn't really plan to be here. We just kind of like found ourselves here one day. And I wanted to be a community college professor. So like went to school, got a master's degree, and I was like, my happy place is the classroom. But life didn't pan out that way. And so after a good college try of attempting to be a corporate employee, I figured out that is the absolute opposite of the type of place that I thrive in. So I played my one, babe, can I quit my job even though I don't have anything lined up card back in, I think that was like 2014. And then eventually I got connected to some small business owners here in San Diego where I'm based, and they needed help with finger quote stuff. And I was like, I can do stuff. I'm smart. I don't know what this stuff is, but sure. And it turned out that stuff was marketing, like help. And so I had done a little bit of marketing in my corporate job, but that was the first point in time where it was my full focus. And so I like read all of the books, watched all the things, listened to all of the people, and self-educated myself around what marketing was. And it was actually a pretty natural fit because my background is in psychology and sociology. So like understanding humans and how they operate. Yeah. So at that point in time, I was like, I think I have clients. So I started a consulting business, and then from there, Aisle Planner became one of my clients, and I was their marketing director for about 3.5 years. And then I started Sourced Co., and then now Enji. And the common thread is just that since I've become self-employed, my basically like what I wake up trying to do every day is solve the marketing problem for people. Yeah. And I've done that in different ways. And so whether that's like consulting one-on-one or stock photography, so you can create content, and now Enji, it's all working to make this thing that I know a lot of people sometimes even go so far as to say they like resent it. I'm just trying to make it so that it's easier for you to do because it is such a necessary thing for your business.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like I've known you for a long time now, and I never connected the dots. Like, it's funny how our careers work. It's like, okay, like I did this thing and then this thing and this thing, and maybe you didn't see that pattern for a while either until you like took a look back at all the years.
Totally. It wasn't until I started Enji that I really did go, oh, no, like everything that I've done is to literally try to make this easier for people. And there are so many facets to running a business, and even just within marketing, there are so many pieces to it that different people struggle with, because we all have, a unique part of marketing that is like the thing we find to be the biggest challenge. And so it's been a fun way for me to just continually try to solve problems, because I'm kind of I'm one of those like gluttons for punishment. I like doing hard things. So, here we are doing the hardest thing with trying to build a tech company. For sure, the hardest thing I've ever done.
I know. Unfortunately, for better or worse, I'm one of those too.
Yeah, I think it's probably a more common trait amongst business owners than maybe we realize, but it's a good one if you got it.
Yeah. This is also full circle for me having you on the podcast, because I don't know if you remember the first time we talked, but you were on the way to a baby shower.
I was driving to Las Vegas. I remember this conversation, and you were like, "Hey, you don't know me, but I'm trying to start a business. Can we chat?" And I 100% remember talking to you while I was driving to Las Vegas to go to my business partner's baby shower. And it was like, so her kid is, I think, 3 now. So that was probably like 4 years ago.
Yeah, and I was like in the chaos of basically having a new business as like a freelancer. Like I literally remember, it's funny how you remember where you are at certain times.
I know.
I think we had a visitor or something, or maybe I just didn't have a desk. I was literally like sitting on my like the end of my bed with like my laptop and like these notes, and I'm like, I probably have the notes somewhere because I'm like a low key hoarder. But I was like, it's funny because now I call you Taylor from Enji, but I think I like wrote down your full name then.
Yep. No, I've been Taylor from Taylor from Aisle Planner, Taylor from Source Code, Taylor from Enji. So I will respond to any version of those things.
Yeah. Yeah. And to give you all context, I had reached out to Taylor. I had learned from a coach, like reach out to people like kind of who do like similar, like they serve the same kind of people kind of like, so like I reached out wanting like basically advice on like how do you actually like not have to quit your business? Like how do you make money and like keep going? And a lot of the conversation was marketing focused, of like also partly like mindset of just trusting the process of like doing the marketing things and then trusting that it will work out. And then it's like been full circle. Like we've gotten to meet in person a couple times, and Enji was birthed, and like now, and like I did a marketing consultation with you earlier this year. So it's fun to see like the whole way that like my business has grown with marketing, partially because of you and your advice. And that's like what other people can win with too.
That's one of the things, it's like a big part of what keeps me going, is actually having relationships and friendships with folks that, even if it's just a short conversation, whatever it is, like I love seeing how those conversations become like little seeds, and getting to watch you build your business. And now, the things that we talked about on that consultation call were so 180 degrees from what we talked about 4 years ago. And it's like the best thing to be able to like turn around and see all of the progress that you've made. And, it's for anyone who works with clients, in the wedding industry, working with a couple is a little bit different. Like everything's culminating toward the event. But for those of us who are working with like other business owners and really trying to like foster some sort of transformation there, it's like the most rewarding thing. It's why we do what we do.
Yeah, I love it. And yeah, you put so much heart into everything you do. So I'm so excited to talk about Enji today, and about marketing, and just like what people can glean from this episode. To kind of get back to the basics and the story behind Enji, what inspired you to create Enji? And what is Enji? I don't think we like necessarily covered that in depth, right? Like it solves a marketing problem.
Yeah, but you're like, what is the marketing problem? Yeah. So Enji, I'm in the process of like redefining how I talk about Enji, but the thing that rolls off the tongue is that Enji is marketing software for small business owners who have to do their own marketing, but aren't marketing experts. And so it's a software platform, and we have a bunch of tools to help you plan, do, and review your marketing, because, for those of you who maybe know me, the OG saying that I used to put out there all the time is doing things on the fly is not a strategy. Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of people listening are like pulling the proverbial blanket over their eyes and like trying to hide because they're like, oh yeah, I only do my marketing on the fly. So the goal of what Enji is trying to help people do is actually make a plan and document it. And then it doesn't matter how good or bad your plan is. Like if you don't do it, you won't even know if it's a good or a bad plan. So then there are all of these tools to help you actually complete the tasks, like write the things, schedule the content, and then reviewing the results of what your time, money, energy, and effort is going into is how you get better at marketing over time, because you can see what's working and what you can lean into, and then what's like kind of a waste, and then you can just like cut the dead weight. So that's what Enji is. And like the story of how I came up with it is like, I don't remember like the exact moment, but during COVID, my husband, who's an engineer and is one of my co-founders, he is a technologist and had been managing people for a long time. And he was bored, and being a wonderful nerd, he just started building a software program for fun. It's like, I'm just going to code some stuff just for funsies. And I was like, what are you going to do with that? He's like, I don't know. Like maybe build a property management software. And I was like, dude, neither of us is passionate about property management. And when you start a startup, you have to be the most passionate about it, because like I said earlier, this is the hardest thing I have ever done. And if I wasn't super passionate about it, I would have already tapped out. So that's just like the brutal, honest truth about it, like what this takes to build a business like this. And so I was like, it's not property management. So then we just started like thinking about stuff. And eventually I thought, well, all of my clients come to me with very similar problems. Mm-hmm. And so that being like a fact meant that there was like a crazy version of reality where I could probably turn that into software, because there could be some sort of repeatable thing that we could build. And it took so long to figure out all of this, because marketing is so abstract. But we figured it out. And 2.5 years later, we launched Enji. And then it's been, at the time that we're recording this, we're just about a month past celebrating our second business birthday after launching.
Yeah, that's so exciting. It's come such a long way too. I love the start. Like, he was just bored and decided to start coding. Like, yeah, okay. Most of us just like read a book or go skiing or something.
I love that. It's kind of like the meme that was popular not that long ago. Like, I just needed a hug. Yeah. But I went and did this crazy thing. So, but that's how a lot of people end up starting their businesses, is it just starts as like this thing that they kind of have been working on. And then there's this inflection point where they realize they're really good at it and this could help other people, or it like fills a bucket for them. And so, in the wedding industry, for a lot of people, it's, I planned my own wedding, right? Mm. That is, probably more often than not, the reason that wedding professionals start their businesses is they went through all of the motions of getting their own wedding celebration planned and off the ground. And then they go, I really liked doing that. Yeah. Right? And so then they end up being wedding professionals, which is so rad.
What initially got you niched in the wedding industry, like when you were starting consulting?
My very first small business that was like, can you help with the stuff, was a florist. Okay. And she's since retired, but she was extremely well connected. And so then like people started in the wedding industry seeing the work that I was doing for her. And then it just kind of went like, okay, well, I guess I work with wedding professionals now. Yeah. So, which is great, because it's this, marketing a wedding business is fundamentally different than marketing a lot of other mainstream or like a little bit more mainstream. And I'm not saying that wedding businesses in the industry is not mainstream, but it's just different. And you can, as a marketer, I have plenty of marketing friends who like they 100% don't get it, and they would make bad recommendations to wedding professionals, not because like it's a malicious thing, but just because it is so nuanced. So it was a really fun place for me to like set my roots and really go deep, because if you asked me how to like market a healthcare company, I'd be like, well, I mean, I could take some shots in the dark, but that's not what I know. So my expertise really has been with helping people who are doing their own marketing do this well right from the start.
Yeah, and I think it's fun that way too because I mean I worked like in-house and like in agencies and marketing, and it's just not the same personal touch of like there's just so much stake in the game when you're working with small business owners, and to me like so much progress too that you see of like you're really helping someone build their empire and their legacy, and like that to me is like I guess the good that we can do in capitalism, you know, like that's the difference that we can make in our work. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I love that. Okay, so a few like hot seat questions about your brand and building it. What made you choose your brand name, the brand Enji?
So I actually ended up hiring my friend whose baby shower I was driving to when we first chatted. She's a fantastic copywriter, Jillian of GG Copywriting. And I was like, Jillian, we're building this thing. I don't know what it's going to be called. And like, I wouldn't even know where to start. So she did a naming session with us, and she, you know, we answered a questionnaire and she gave us all of these ideas. And really my like top level requirements were, it was short. It didn't really mean anything. And the domain was available. Yeah. You know, those are the important things. And so she came up with Enji, and the way she was thinking about it was that it's a play off of the word engine, because that's what Enji is. It's, you know, we're trying to be folks' marketing engine, because every business needs that. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, yep, that one's it. Because Enji is an extension of me as a human consultant, because it's my brain that powers a lot of it. But it also felt like the right fit because as a human consultant, that's exactly why people hired me. Like they were like, Tayler, go make this marketing thing go. Yeah. Right. So I have been the driving force and energy as a person with a lot of people's businesses. And so I was like, oh yeah, that's the one, Enji.
I love that. I've never told you this, but it's funny. This is a super specific lens of like what I've always thought the name means, and I've never thought to ask you until this.
No, I'm so excited to hear what you say.
Yeah, so you've heard of like the Myers-Briggs test?
Oh yes.
Yeah, my result, like my personality type is ENTJ. So like my very like biased, like I hear ENTJ and it sounds a lot like NG to me, like ENJI. And so I always thought it was like a play on like an acronym of like basically like intuitively understanding your brand's personality and then building out a marketing strategy with it. Like,
that's good.
You could steal that and use it for your website if you want. You'll hear it on here first.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go look it up because I mean EN. I'm an
or
ENFJ. I'm an ENTJ.
I think we're the same. Yeah, ENTJ personality type is extroverted, intuitive, thinking, and judging.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can be, like, for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, the Myers-Briggs test basically is like a series of questions that you answer. It's like started by psychologists and helps you. I think the first time I took it was in an internship in college or like a part-time job or something, and it helps you understand how you work with other people. So this agency I worked at in college literally had theirs on the door, like, so that way, like, you could tell if someone's more introverted, it's probably not a good idea to just like drop by their office unannounced because like they're focused more in their work. So yeah, I think it's like you can be extroverted or introverted, intuitive, or I don't
feeling is the I don't remember.
Yeah.
But there's like two options for each one, I
Yeah,
think.
basically. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it just like shows like how you like think about things. Like I think judging is like not like we're judgmental people, but it's like you kind of like process everything
But
around
also
you
maybe I am.
first. Yeah, I guess it kind of depends on what we're
Also
judging.
maybe a little bit.
Maybe we all are a little bit. But like yeah, so like thinking versus emotional is like okay, you
Yeah.
might be like more analytical.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then judging is like, oh, okay, here, if you're judging, you prefer structured, planned environments and have a strong desire for order and efficiency, which describes Enji anyway.
And me as a human, absolutely.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot. I'm gonna don't be surprised, anyone, if you see a marketing campaign
Yeah.
around this concept.
I told you here, you can use
Yep.
it. So
Yeah. Thank you.
Very good.
The
Yeah.
finder's fee is coming.
What has been your biggest branding challenge in your business?
Oh, so funny enough, Jillian just thought she was coming up with a fun play on words, and very quickly I learned that Enji, Enji, is a masculine Japanese name.
Oh.
So when I initially, if you Googled Enji, and if you Google Enji right now, you would still get a lot of anime.
Okay.
There are so many characters named Enji, and so I was like, oh. So actually building our SEO around branded keywords was the first thing that I knew I needed to do, because you need, for when someone Googles you, for you to come up, not something that's like super unrelated to what your business is. So my first challenge was very much a branding challenge.
Yeah, that's a hard one too. Like people who aren't familiar with brand naming don't always think about that. And the last episode I recorded solo goes over, I don't know, it won't come out right before this, but it'll come out a few episodes before, and it goes over like how I chose my brand name, and it's literally just like Emily Foster Creative, but sometimes there is ease to that because it makes your SEO so much easier. Like there might be another Emily Foster Creative out there, but probably not the same niche. And so yeah, that can be easier with SEO, and like shorter, more general brand names I feel like can be harder to rank for.
Yep.
With
Yep.
SEO.
So thankfully we do have a really pretty robust list of branded keywords that the internet understands.
Yeah.
Our us. But yeah, it was really interesting at the start. I was like, okay, this is Enji is clearly, even though at the time it didn't mean anything to me, it meant a lot already to the internet.
Yeah. Do you ever look at like your Google search console and find that people have clicked on your website from an anime search?
I don't think, I haven't actually looked at that, but I mean, I do know that nowadays a lot of people are searching for just Enji, but that could be just a mix of things, right? I don't know with 100% certainty that someone who typed that into Google is looking for us. So Enji marketing has become like our really big branded keyword for us, because just by adding marketing at the end, or Enji AI, that also is a branded keyword that people are using to find us if they don't know that our website is ng.co.
Yeah.
So yes, but having Google Search Console does really make it easy for me to understand, like, okay, well, does the internet understand us in the right context or the wrong context? And I'm happy to report it's mostly the right context.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I was asking, short story time. I have a client whose name is the same as someone who's on, I'm like blinking on the site. It's like not Ashley Madison, but it's like the casual site for that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That other girl comes up, and it's like the sixth keyword that my client is clicked on for, and so like just probably all the disappointment of the people who like go and land on this this regular service provider's
Oh my
site.
God, that's hilarious.
Yeah, and I don't like report it in the SEO updates because it's like not relevant, but I'm like, there's like, it's so funny what people can come up for. Like,
Yes.
yeah.
I'm glad I don't have that challenge.
Yeah, just anime. Just like
Just
main
anime.
characters in anime. Yeah.
Yep. Not dark corners of the internet.
Yeah, that's for the best. What's one tip you have for wedding and event pros who are trying to build an effective brand?
You know, this is a really, to me, it's like a loaded question because there are so many things that people can do. But I think that in today's market, in today's version of like what we all need to do, I think that coming up with a way to build on the simple way of describing what it is you do, right? Because that's how, branding and SEO are pretty closely related. They're not, they're not apples and apples, but like they play together. And the way that traditionally people have thought about, okay, well, what do I need the internet to understand me? Or how do I need the internet to understand me? It was like very straightforward, right? Like, I am a wedding planner. I am a photographer. But nowadays, the way people are searching for things on any platform, because basically search is everywhere now, it is much more nuanced and layered. Yeah. And so from a branding perspective, getting to know your ideal clients is more important than it has been in the past, and getting to know them at a very deep level. Not just, her name is Ashley, she's 28 years old, she has a communications degree, and she likes to shop at Anthropologie. Like, that is actually not super helpful information anymore. Like, what you need to know from a branding perspective about your, who you're talking to is really founded in their psychology, right? How do they view the world? How are they trying to move through it? What are they really struggling with? And what's going to motivate them to actually make a move when they find you? And then that also plays into how you can attract them. So, and this is the thing that I'm sharing, because so many wedding professionals, when I ask them to describe, okay, what's the problem that your business solves for your clients? I say this with all the love, so please don't hate me. But like, a lot of people say, oh, it's their first time planning a wedding. And that's not it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's too simple. It doesn't actually say anything. So I really encourage people to go deep on this, because it's the way marketing and humanity is moving, and we all need to move with that current. We can't like be out in left field thinking that, well, this is how I've always done it and it'll be fine. Like, we all gotta get in that pool and go where it's going.
Yeah. Do you feel like there's a difference in the way that like Gen Z searches compared to older generations? Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like from my experience, like I'm always typing in really lengthy questions into Google, like, yeah, or like almost like using it almost a little bit like ChatGPT, like giving it a super 100%. Long prompt.
Yep, and that's the behavior change that ChatGPT is like, that's the influence that it's had on human behavior. And I love talking about this because like we used to just go to Google and type in like wedding planner Los Angeles, right? Yeah. And now, because people have been using chat interfaces with artificial intelligence for a decent amount of time now, we now expect that we can give technology these very detailed and nuanced requests. And that now is spilling over into Google. It's spilling over into, when you're using Meta's AI, it's like spilling into all of the places. And so it's a crazy, but also like kind of cool way that technology changes how we act as humans, and then has a huge impact on how we buy and how we think about the buying process, which as a business owner means we have to change how we think about doing our marketing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that like when you're not necessarily used to searching in that way, because I think about like my entire life has basically been on the internet. Like I only have a short time where I didn't use the internet, like up until I was 10. But it's like for people who were already out of college when the internet came out, like it's like you kind of learn to do very short keywords to find what you needed. Like you were saying, like wedding planner Los Angeles. And it's like now we're doing like modern wedding planner in Los Angeles that has coordination packages or something.
It specializes in outdoor weddings, right? Like it's something crazy. And Gen Z for sure has the most expectations in terms of getting what they want. And you've heard people listening to this episode have likely heard other marketers or business coaches talking about personalization as a marketing trend.
Yeah.
You know, it started coming up in like 2024, but it definitely like it's only going to become more and more of an expectation and become less of a trend. Like it's here to stay. Yeah. So that's again why we all have to put in extra effort to really understand who we are trying to attract and sell to on a pretty deep human level.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so I saw Taylor at the Show It conference last fall, and that was really cool to see you in that environment because it was like outside of wedding pros. Like the Show It Spark conference is no longer like focused on photographers and wedding pros. Like it's just kind of designers, like web designers, some copywriters. And it was like you were talking to all my people kind of thing. It was like instead of like it's funny because we are still friends, but I was like instead of like being like, you know, my peer, you're like the teacher kind of thing in that environment. And so I heard a lot of our struggles, obviously. But what are like 3 of the biggest struggles that Enji users have? From what you see, like what are, or maybe not even Enji users, like people who could use Enji in their businesses, like what are like 3 of like the day-to-day complaints that you hear from small business owners?
Yeah, this is super easy for me to rattle off because it doesn't matter what type of business you have. These are very much like a part of the inspiration for Enji overall, because I needed to think about like, okay, well, what are the problems and how do we like productize the marketing solution? Yeah. So the first thing is my clients used to say to me, and people who didn't know each other, they'd say, Taylor, just tell me what to do. Like that was a very, like, once I took a half step back, I was like, oh, everybody just wants to be told what to do because you make so many decisions for your own business and in your own life already that you're exhausted. But also there's this layer of like, quote unquote, I didn't go to school for marketing. So like, I kind of don't trust myself to make the right decisions. So that's a huge problem that people experience that is complex. But the solution is having something that is not a blank slate, right? So Enji, you play a game of 20 questions and then it gives you a personalized marketing plan that you can follow that's already made the baseline decisions for you that you can keep what you want to keep. You can delete some things. You can add your own stuff to really make it your own, but you didn't have to come up with it on your own.
Yeah.
And so that's the first thing. The second thing is everybody's like, Taylor, I can't. How do I get consistent with my marketing? And so Enji is really built around the concept of we're trying to help you build a marketing routine that can become habitual versus I'm going to do things on the fly, right? Because that's not, you guys, you will never convince me that doing anything that's on the fly is actually productive. So Enji is going to help create that structure and that pattern of things you can do so that you can actually stick to it. And the really great thing is that it creates that routine based on how much time you have to work on your marketing. Yeah. So if you tell Enji, I have an hour a week to work on my marketing, your plan is going to look super different from someone who on the rare occasion says, I have 10 hours a week to work on my marketing, right? So that's the second problem that it solves. And then the last one is the question that I know everybody has. And that's, is my marketing working? Yeah. And nobody knows why their marketing is or if their marketing is working, because no one tracks results. Right. And so with Enji, we celebrate KPI Day, which is a nerdy way of saying we look at our numbers every single month. And Enji has all those direct integrations to make it easy to like have most of your marketing metrics automatically tracked, so that you have like a running count of how did things go, and then all of a sudden understanding where your marketing is working really well and where you're like, it's not so much, like it becomes crystal clear. So those are the three big problems, and then how Enji helps solve
I love
those
that.
things.
Yeah, because that was gonna be my second question is how can people better that in their business? And I love the KPI part, because to me, like, it's funny because I don't mind budgeting, like finances, but I hate tracking any other kind of data. And I actually don't find marketing to be hard. Like I'm kind of like the psychopath compared to other people, where I'm like, I think it's fun. Like I could crank out graphics and content all day. I have no lack of ideas, but I don't want to actually take a look at if it's working or not, because then that like kind of humbles you. It's like, oh, I don't want to think strategically about it. Like,
it is. But you know what? That's a very normal thing to feel. Mm-hmm. And, marketing is my full-time, that is the thing that I spend all more than 40 hours a week working on, is marketing. And I don't get it right every time. Mm-hmm. Like, failure is baked into this process. Yeah. And I think it's really, really, really important for people to know that, not just like hear it, but to know it and accept it, that you are going to have things that don't pan out. And that is super normal with marketing, because it is all a giant experiment. Mm-hmm. Because the world around us, people, markets, our businesses, we as individuals, it all changes. And so our marketing constantly needs to shift along with that. So I don't want anyone to ever feel, because that emotion keeps a lot of people from doing any sort of marketing, because they're just afraid to fail. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter how good a marketer you are, how long you've been doing it, you will fail, and that is okay.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I feel like we'll have to do another episode at some point, because there's also so much more to touch on, like within every sector of your marketing, that I think you can speak to. And but I think it's like good to leave it there, of like, you're going to fail at your marketing. It's an experiment. You should keep trying, and we're all continuing to try, which I think is why like programs like Enji are so amazing, because it's like something like, it's like a little outside tool that's pretty affordable, all in all, that's keeping you going in your marketing.
Yep. We all, like, the best we can do is just our best. Yeah. And our best changes on a day-to-day basis. Like, yesterday was not my best work. I told you before we started recording, I was super distracted by world events. Yeah. So it wasn't my best day. And that's fine, right? Like, you just give your best in that moment, and it's going to look different every time you sit down to work on something. But anytime someone wants to nerd out on marketing, clearly I could talk about this ad nauseum, and I love to. But when push comes to shove, the thing that I want to be for folks is like something that lights a little fire under your butts to get it done.
I love that. And it doesn't have to be hard. Like, Taylor's the one that told me, she was kind of like, you're posting to Instagram 5 days a week. She's like, you need to stop that. So it also doesn't always mean doing more. Mm-hmm. It just means doing better. And like, for me, it was like, okay, I think you told me to cut it down to 2 days a week. And I did.
Like, you were like, oh!
I was like, Taylor, what about 4? And you're like, okay, let's
do 3.
Yeah.
Split the difference. So we had a little negotiation.
I'm sometimes cheating and doing 4 or 5 days a week.
That's okay.
But it gives me the permission, because when I'm busy, I'm like, nope, Taylor just said that I have to do 3 days a week, like, or actually 2 days, but like, I'm doing the 3 days minimum, and that works really well for me. And that's for someone like who enjoys Instagram. So if you don't enjoy Instagram, you don't have to be that active. Yeah. How can people find you if they just want to learn more about you as a person, but then also Enji?
Yeah. So if you want to, if my version of weird is interesting to you, then my personal Instagram account is Tailored Designs. TAYLRD_designs. And that's a mix of, the skiing, the mountain biking, the disco, the politics, all of the things. But as a geriatric millennial, please only try to find me on Instagram, because like people message me on TikTok and I'm like, oh, I saw this 9 days later. I swear I'm not an a-hole, but I just am not on TikTok. But Enji is ENJI_co on Instagram and on a lot of the social platforms. And then our website is enji.co.
Yeah, and then go check out, you get a 14-day free trial when you sign up for Enji. So I think it's a really good amount of time to kind of sort out your strategy and come up with a game plan. And there's the scheduler now in Enji, right? Like you can actually schedule posts out. So you could schedule out a couple weeks of content and give that a try. And then I also have an affiliate discount for you that I'll put in the show notes. And you can get the first 2 months of Enji for $19 per month. So it really is like, kind of think of this as your marketing VA, like that's going to be doing some of the heavy lifting for you. And really, like Tayler mentioned, marketing for an hour per week. Like if that's all you have, that's enough with this program to sort out your marketing and kind of get things streamlined so you're not burning yourself out. Thank you so much, Tayler. Is there anything else that you wanted to share before we go?
Nope. Just thank you for, like I said, being a bright spot in my day.
Yeah.
And thank you for inviting me on to have this chat. And I'm excited to see all of the things that you're going to be doing with this podcast, because this is an exciting new facet to your business, and it's going to be so good.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much, Tayler. Thanks for coming on, and we'll talk with you soon.